So now, ladies and gentlemen, live and in colour, it's Mr. Wayne Lovejuice.
The other day our producer Louis had a chat with an interesting chappie who said that the YouTube algorithms really aren't that happy if a channel only broadcasts once a week, so we decided we could text ya whenever we've got a piece of news in our new book on the Track Extra. I'm afraid that I have some very bad news for you. The subject of this episode of On the Track Extra was a walrus called Freya, and I'd recorded quite a light-hearted and jolly look at her life and exploits. Sadly, I have now to report that the Norwegian government have euthanized her. The explanation given, that she was getting stressed by all the visitors, I do not think holds water. It would have been a little bit harder work, but more effort to have had a police and even a military presence to keep well-wishers and sightseers away from the harbour where the walrus was. But no, they did what the human race so often does. They shot her. I have always thought that the Norwegians were civilized people. I am now changing my view of that rapidly. I seriously suggest that anybody watching this show who is as disgusted by this as I am, write your complaints and feelings to the Norwegian Embassy in London. In the meantime, I'm leaving the rest of the show as it was, as a tribute to a remarkable pinniped. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's John Downs, and welcome to another episode of On the Track Extra. Now, I've got some very interesting stuff for you this episode. But first of all, just in case you haven't seen the show before, every Saturday afternoon for about half an hour and every Wednesday evening for about half that, we bring you a potpourri of hard science, weird shit, and surreality. You want to know what surreality is? Well, I think you really need to refer yourself to one of the other shows in this series in which I have produced a little video clip to try to explain the idea of surreality to non-surreal audiences. A bit like this. Mind the gap. Well, I'm sure that made everything perfectly clear. By the way, guys, look, I am wearing my Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy's Slarty Bartfast t-shirt, which Dave Curtis and his delightful family sent me. I always love you guys. Thank you for sending me shirts, and I will always wear them on air, unless they're totally offensive in some way or another, and probably even then. And whilst we're talking about the Curtis family, much love and congratulations to Rosie Curtis, who has been one of my adopted nieces for, 20 years now, I think, because she has got a 2-1 in her degree in something clever about computers that I don't understand. Well done, baby. Your Uncle John is incredibly proud of you. Now, Miss Maxine, who is a lady of whom I am sure you have all heard, because she's an integral part of this show, has got a cat called Freya. And this next story is about a female mammal called Freya, who has gone on a rampage around different parts of Europe, and it's fascinating. But first of all, I have to assure you all and Miss Maxine that we're not talking about her cat, Freya. Cop a load of this. This is not Miss Maxine's cat, I'm sure of that, because her cat's not aquatic. This Freya is quite serene on a submarine, and she's not staying static. She's a pinhead, listen to what I said! Freya's a walrus! Goo 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 goo. And what have I told you, Hennis, about eating those funny mushrooms that grow in the corner of the compost heap? Far out, man. Well, as Archie and the cat take Hennis to the chill-out tent that they've extemporised underneath the dining room table, it's time to talk about Freya the walrus. Well, you probably remember that at the back end of last year, when we were giving our final episode about Wally the walrus, who carved a wake of havoc from Ireland to Wales to Cornwall to France and Spain, then back to Wales again, he was at the time on his way back north, passing north of Iceland, back towards the North Pole. But there was another walrus, this one that's called Freya, a female sub-adult, that was turned up on the shores in Northumberland. But not only is she back, it turns out that before she got to Northumberland, she caused havoc in a Dutch harbour at the Den Helder naval port. And would you like to guess what was the name of the submarine upon which this beautifully engaging pinniped was sitting? It was the HMLNS, I think it is called, Walrus. And it gets even weirder. Would you like to know the class of the submarine, which is used by the Dutch navies and maybe others as well? I haven't gone into it. It's Walrus class. And this year, the Walrus class have been given a reprieve, and they are not going to be scrapped as was originally planned. Why? Is it because walruses like them so? I think we should be told. I love lexilinks, and for those of you who don't know what lexilinks are, briefly, they are the unexpected language links between different subjects which seem to present a sort of subtext within an awful lot of fortean occurrences. But back to the walrus. Where is she now? Well, apparently she's now in Oslo harbour, where she is doing much the same as dear Wally did the summer of last year in various harbours in the Channel Islands. She is sinking boats by trying to climb upon them to sunbathe. And as seems to be the accepted custom and practice of these walruses, she is much beloved, even as she is causing the most amount of havoc that you can imagine. So that's the story. I think that Freya the walrus is a remarkable successor to Sir Wally of the same name last year, and I hope that the incursions into European waters of these Arctic creatures continues.